Ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
All right.
Let's go.
So technically speaking, all I should have to do is hit start ride.
And all our destinations are locked and loaded.
And they should be locked and loaded. And it hit. Okay, so it just locked.
As we get going, just give us 1 minute to cover a few riding things.
Absolutely, please.
Experience may feel futuristic.
It already does.
Is the same as always. So keep your seatbelts fastened, please. If you're traveling with little ones or expecting, please see the seatback card for more information.
I can already say that right off the bat, that departure from the side of where we were parked was so human-like and natural. It was unbelievable.
It was.
Like,
Phones are only on when you're connected to rider support.
I wasn't looking up when we departed, but just that feeling of just how smooth it was, just how you would expect just a very comfortable chauffeur driver almost in some ways, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, from the moment it pulled over, waited for us patiently.
So confident.
So confident.
Yes.
And then it once we were settled in, we said start ride. It just
maneuvered
so natural.
so smooth.
Yeah.
Obviously for us it's very comfortable and very confidence inspiring in a sense that, like, we're in an autonomous vehicle. It's ironic in some ways because you're the CEO of an autonomous platform in the sense that you really want to push autonomy forward. This really is the future in some ways.
Exactly. And so that's exactly the point, Andrew, about testme.com. And the reason we started is we wanted people to check out in real life the autonomous experiences. And so any Tesla owner who has been using FSD for a while, we all know how great it has become over the years. And but for the people, there's no way for them to experience that today. And so what we thought was, in terms of adoption of full self-driving like technologies, what would really help is being in the car with somebody, and they can teach them, they can show them, make them comfortable. And this not only helps Tesla as a company who's making full self-driving technologies, but people who you give ride to, they are more open now, and eventually they support the autonomous vehicles in their own cities and towns, which overall pushes the regulators as well. Is like people want this technology to be safer on the roads.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I honestly think that you've shared with me, obviously off camera, your personal story of this. And I'm not sure if it's a story you share on camera or not, but if you're willing to, that I think that's a crucial reason why TESME and autonomous driving platforms should be a gold standard, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. And so I don't mind sharing that. And thank you for asking that, Andrew. So a few years ago, I had a very unfortunate accident. I was going to work early in the morning. It was a standstill traffic, and I was paying attention. So I came to a full stop from 60 miles an hour. Unfortunately, the person behind me, they were not paying attention. And the last thing I know was their head was down, like they were, watching something in their phone. So they were distracted driving. And boom, all of a sudden, the next thing I know is I woke up in the hospital. I was unconscious because of the impact. It was super high, 60 plus miles an hour. And So we know that, with full self-driving or autopilot kind of technologies, the car would not do that. And the car would be much more safe driver on the roads, and hence preventing a lot of these collisions and accidents. So that's one of the core reasons for us to start TESME. Is like, hey guys, let's have the robots drivers.
Yeah.
There are 8 cameras around it. There are more technologies around it. It's gonna keep us safe.
There's more sensors on these vehicles in general, whether we consider it a consumer technology like Tesla or we consider it a more industrial application like Waymo. There's more sensors on this than you or I can fathom as far as how much data you and I can process as we drive down the roads.
Exactly. I mean, did you just notice there were like a bunch of people
Yes.
jaywalking, and the
Yes.
car was like navigating across them, and
So
it was so smooth.
So smooth. And the other thing that I think is very important that most people don't think about right away with driverless vehicles is the privacy that you experience in these cars. I mean, here we are, we're shooting a video for your platform and for basically kind of, just a nice video to document the
Yeah.
experience, right? I don't feel uncomfortable by having a driver up there that might be listening to our conversation and then judging us off of what's going on. Or I think that part, trying to get people to understand, like that actually is the reality of when we move to this.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, 2 points on this as well. It's like, so some time ago, I had an Uber driver, and for some reason, he was having a bad day or something.
Sure.
And man, he was so aggressive in driving,
Oh.
and he was looking back at me, and I asked him to like drive slowly,
Just chill, yeah.
just chill, and just
Yeah.
like just drive slow. There's no rush.
No.
But he got there's something wrong with him, off with him,
Sure.
maybe just that day or something.
Yeah.
And he was like going off, looking back, and changing lanes on the highway. That made me really uncomfortable, and I opened a case with Uber about that as well. So that's one thing. The second thing you mentioned about privacy, this is amazing.
This is incredible.
Can you imagine like having your date, or just going out with your family?
Sure.
And the car is driving you, and you guys can talk and like spend time together.
And not only that, I think of the implications of from the female perspective. Think of if you're a woman and it's late at night or something like that, and you want to get a ride home. I didn't think of this with an electric vehicle, but my wife mentioned to me early on that going to an electric vehicle, for her, it was a concern of getting gas late at night. And so going to an electric vehicle, obviously you eliminate that problem, right? So for females switching to EVs, they really like the idea of being able to just fill up the car at home, right? And have that security and privacy. When I started talking about the driverless vehicles with my spouse, she mentioned that the privacy for her of knowing that the vehicle is locked, there's no one inside, it's very safe. So once you get inside, you can lock the vehicle and have your own space, right? Is almost paramount in some regards.
Yeah, exactly. And I have my sister and my mom in our family, and they're always like, hey, we really like not stopping at the gas stations anymore.
Yeah.
Because we have home chargers at the home, and the car is always fully topped off in the morning. And so our visits to like any of those kind of places, sketchy, sometimes there are sketchy places. It's very minimal these days. So did you just notice how patiently it waited?
How smooth, how patient, how
Yeah.
just like this is blowing my mind.
Right.
This is reality.
This is reality.
This isn't like you hear about this in the news, you hear about, oh, there was an incident or whatever. But I'm actually sitting in the vehicle, and we're documenting the fact that it actually is happening, and it's working.
It's working, exactly. I mean, imagine, so we are doing actually a podcast style discussion right now.
Yes.
We could totally be working while the car is driving us.
Absolutely.
We could totally be on a Zoom call, be productive. We could totally be sleeping. You can sleep right now. You don't have to pay attention. The
No.
car is paying attention for you. And now noticed the car, okay. So the car just turned on the flashlights last moment. And so this is very typical of San Francisco.
The thing is that it doesn't feel uncomfortable. Like it doesn't. I'm going to get roasted in the comments for this, but on version 11, it doesn't have the phantom braking nonsense that Tesla does, where it's very jerky and very hesitant.
Yeah, so I think from the technology perspective, I think the version 11, what it is there's like three big modules in a self-driving solution, right? There's a perception piece of it, which is perceiving the world around you, which is vision.
Yeah.
Or for Waymo, it's like a combination of vision, lidars, radars, different sensor suites, right? For Tesla, let's say it's just pure vision today.
Sure.
The second piece of it is computing and inferencing. So based on the visual environment you are in, path planning, what do you do, right?
Yeah.
So just computing all those data in and coming up with some action game plan, basically. The third piece is the control piece, which is more about acceleration, deceleration, and then steering action, right? So all the control actions. Now with version 11, that was mostly a handwritten code in C++. And you might have heard that, Elon has mentioned that as well, is the 300,000 plus lines of C++ code is now being omitted in version 12.
Sure.
So technically, I think I'm super excited for that version.
Yes.
And all of the issues that we have had, I have a strong feeling that it's going to go away.
I agree. what Waymo calls it is sense, solve, and go.
Sense, solve, and go. Yeah. Okay.
And so their terminology is that they sense the environment
Did
around
you just
them.
see that?
This is incredible. This is so
Wow.
incredible. It went around the parked Waymo.
And it's not like braking and stopping.
No, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, because on version 11
No
for us right
hesitation.
now, yeah, there's that bit of hesitation.
Yeah.
And this is just, it's very confident. It's, I got this. Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah, and so I mean, I think this is exactly what we should expect. Once we do get the version 12 release as well, is a much more smooth, rider experience, much more smoother acceleration, deceleration, and of course, it's a neural net based architecture, Andrew. So as you can imagine, it will take some time to optimize and fine tune. The more data
Yeah.
you feed into the fleet from the fleet. And the neural nets, the better it will get. So there will be a slight on ramp to getting things right, but future is bright.
Absolutely. But
Yeah.
it's fun to see the future is bright, no doubt. But it's fun to see that the technology does exist today.
Today,
And
I mean,
it's
we
not
are
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's fascinatingly smooth. Like if I had to rate this driver, it's 5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars. And please, can I give a tip? Like, this is incredible. This is incredible.
Yeah. So last time I was here with another one of my friend, he said that this is like a professional Uber driver.
Yes, yes.
Items in the trunk.
Okay, so we are just approaching our first destination. And you can see that, I mean, this is very complex environment, Andrew. We are climbing the hill, there's like foot traffic and
Yeah.
stuff.
For your safety, the doors will remain locked when we arrive. Pull the handle twice.
So is our plan, do we want to get out here when we arrive, or do we want to just kind of hit next stop and head to the next destination and
I
let
think
the
we should
cameras
just
keep rolling?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's like continuation. Yeah.
The only thing is the restroom break, yes?
I'm good.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm good. The third stop is our restroom stop.
That
This
sounds
is just
great.
kind of being tourist in
That
some regards.
sounds great to me.
This is amazing.
Oh man, so like even like if it comes to a full stop, it will just go.
Yeah. It glides into that
Yeah.
stop so smoothly and effortlessly.
All right, so we are finding a spot to pull over.
Vehicle approaching.
Okay.
Please make sure it's clear if you're exiting.
You're here. Please make sure it's clear before exiting.
Resume ride.
So I can just hit resume, right?
Yeah.
Vehicle approaching.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've arrived at
You're
this
here.
stop.
Please make sure it's clear before exiting and don't forget any items in the trunk.
All right, and we are off.
And
just
we're
like that.
off just like that for point number 2. We're heading to Palace of Fine Arts.
Yeah. Oh, and then look. So this is
So
gonna
this
it's
is gonna
gonna
have
make
to
a
go
U-turn.
I know, it's got to go through a roundabout.
Yeah.
No big deal. Ho-de-do-de-do-de-do. Like,
Okay.
this is reality.
This is a reality, and can you imagine, like, from there's another Waymo dropping somebody else.
This is a reality. It's not just wow. This isn't something that just, oh, maybe tomorrow it'll happen. No, this is today.
This is today, so you can imagine the tourist attractions. That how easy would it be for tourists to go to different stops and just have a good time? And the car is driving you, and
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about like Uber drivers or like anybody else. You don't have to worry about anything else. It's just hop in,
Relax and
relax, enjoy
enjoy your ride.
your ride.
Yeah.
Look at this, such a beautiful day.
Beautiful view.
So I don't know if you realize, so the two biggest bridges, or the most famous tourist spots, or the bridges here in the San Francisco Bay Area, is the Golden Gate Bridge, which is right there. And then if you see on the other side, there's a Bay Bridge.
Yeah.
So we can see both of them from here.
From Coit Tower.
From Coit Tower, yeah. So here we'll see the Bay Bridge on the right. Oh man, this is beautiful. So that's the Bay Bridge right there.
Yeah.
Right? And then on the left, you'll see over here the Golden Gate Bridge. It's crazy.
This is great. You're
Yeah.
a tourist, and for you, you can be a tourist in your own town. In the sense that
Exactly.
This is it allows you, I mean, this autonomous driving, it frees your brain cycles up so much to be able to do other things.
Right.
And your mind starts to wonder on
Right.
what those other things can be.
Right.
It's fascinating on the proposition.
Yeah, so I'll tell you a personal story. So I got this Tesla FSD. I paid $50,000 last year, and since then I have had almost 35,000 miles.
That's a lot.
And so the car is pretty much has been driving me, and I just cannot realize, I mean, people don't realize that the kind of progress they have made over the years. Now, of course, we don't want to make this as a Tesla video,
Sure.
But that's something that people can have it in their personal vehicles today.
That's a consumer product.
Consumer product,
Yeah.
and anybody who buys a Tesla today
Yes.
can have the car drive you today.
Yes.
Now, of course, you still need to pay attention. It's in beta.
Yeah.
It will make some mistakes, in all like fairness and like disclaimers. You still need to pay attention, but it is so convenient.
As a driver's aid
Yeah.
right now, it's incredible.
Incredible.
And it's worth every penny for what the
Yeah.
software is. And I do see that the future is bright in a sense of, because I was enrolled in the program early on. I think it was 2020 when I first got, or 2021, I believe, when I first got enrolled. 10.2 was my first
Okay.
release of the software, and 100% between all of the different revisions of seeing the progress, it's fascinating to see it develop throughout that time. No doubt. It's neat to see a commercial application of autonomous driving. I mean, that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
And it's neat to see that it is possible.
Yeah.
And so that promise of, hey, your consumer vehicle that you own will one day be capable of driving itself, I actually think I think that reality is so close that we're starting to visualize it as a society.
For sure, and that's a excellent point, Andrew, because for many years people have been trashing Elon and Tesla as a company as like robotaxi is a pipe dream. It's not a pipe dream. We are in a robotaxi right now,
Yeah.
and the only difference between this solution and that solution is a different technological approach and the way they
Different
went
sensors.
about different sensor suites, the different ways they went about solving it. The end goal is the same. It's autonomous vehicles.
Yep.
It's a new shift to a new transportation for the future, where people do not have to worry if they choose not to drive. There's a solution.
Yeah.
Now with Tesla, you can imagine that a day will come, and not too distant future, the software will be so good, all of a sudden millions of Tesla cars in the fleet would be robotaxi capable.
They'll wake up.
They would wake up as a robotaxi.
Yeah.
And you just choose whether you want it to be part of that robotaxi fleet.
Yep.
And can you imagine?
Yep.
It's happening.
Yes.
It is happening.
This is incredible. Like this is. I was excited about doing this today.
Yeah.
I knew I was gonna. I had some skepticism, obviously, coming into this. I knew I was ready to be impressed in some regards, but I don't think I was prepared for the level of how impressed I am. This is good.
I mean, and it's just like for us, we have been using FSD for a while.
Yeah.
So for us, it's like we don't even think even once that there is no driver in the seat.
No, it's so natural.
It's just so natural.
What's happening right now is what I wish we could do in our cars.
Exactly.
Like, please, for the love of God, it's getting good enough. Stop nagging me. I am paying attention to the road.
Exactly. Oh man, yeah. So for sure, and I hope Elon watches our video or the Tesla AI team watches our video at some point. But to their credit, Andrew, I think the safety benchmarks are very important.
Yes.
So like people, like sometimes even me, and in my mind, I'm one of the biggest proponent of FSD and
Yes.
Tesla. But sometimes I get kind of people kind of like say that I'm not really paying attention as well. But the thing is, it only takes, as the media and the news, it only takes one unfortunate event,
Yes.
and they would be gung ho about like, up and down about like, let's ban full self driving,
Yeah.
it's killing people.
Yeah.
which in fact is so far away from the truth.
Absolutely.
There's already enough statistics and data that a supervised FSD, so Tesla just published this data, is I think probably like 4x or 5x better in terms of the national average of people getting in collisions.
I would believe even higher.
Even higher,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, I mean,
Yeah. But to your point about nags, Tesla AI team, please, at some point, hopefully not in too distant future, take those away.
just throttle them down.
Yeah, and the reason I say that is because what I would love to do as soon as that happens, Andrew, and I think that happens once Tesla certifies as a L4 system. I think it cannot happen until if it's still L2.
Yes, I agree.
It just cannot happen.
But I will tell you, I drove a Model X 2016 loaner the other day when my vehicle was in service, and that had FSD on it. But because it was a 2016, it didn't have the cabin camera.
Yeah.
It was blissful.
It was, yeah, it was, yeah.
But I agree, we're not too far away.
We are not too
the
far
team is
away.
working their asses off
Yeah.
right now. They're doing an amazing job.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's talented teams in all of these full self-driving startups.
Yeah.
Proof being in what we're driving in right now, but it's so close. Do you think it's this year, or do you think? And this year, obviously, for our viewers, it's what is it, February, beginning of February in 2024.
Yeah.
So, are we looking at a summer possibly where people are going to start waking up, and we're going to have that drive GPT moment, if you will, where people just kind of notice that, like with Chat GPT, that took over their text. Driving is now going to be taken over by GPTs.
So I think not knowing much into the internals about what the actual progress rates are and the infrastructure of the Tesla and Tesla AI teams and stuff.
Sure.
But just like sharing personally, based on what I have been seeing on my Tesla and with my experience, is I would be surprised if that moment doesn't come this year. In terms of timeline, I'm very hesitant to say anything because I don't want to just make random, guesses or timelines.
Yeah.
But I have a strong conviction and belief in Tesla AI team. I just based on what they have been able to accomplish, and the entire industry was against them in terms of like not using LiDAR, but they stick to their belief and they're making it happen. So I would be surprised if it doesn't happen this year. The future is exciting.
I couldn't agree more. I think for me, I've been in the FSD beta program for just a little bit longer, from the version 10 to the version 11 jump. And I think for those that got to experience the 10 to 11, the difference of improvement between those different software branches, it almost felt like a leap forward in that regards of overall improving smoothness, overall improving the confidence of the drive. And I think as we encroach on the V12 release, this is encouraging of us being in Waymo and kind of seeing how they've evolved over the couple of years of their driving and being on roads here in town, that, I haven't personally driven V12, but I do believe, based off of what it's trained off of and knowing kind of similar concepts of end-to-end training and things like that, that it can work. If it's trained off of really talented humans and it mimics human behavior, it clearly can work.
Right, exactly. And so, I mean, even like if you think about the progression from 10, so I started at 10.69.
Okay.
And then, so you're exactly right. The jump from 10.x to 11.x was a significant jump. People could notice it. In my opinion, I think you're also right. The jump from 11.x to 12.x would be maybe like even 5 times the jump from the earlier jump. And the reason being is, keep in mind, Andrew, that the earlier versions, it was a linear progress. So even like in, from, for example, 11.1 to 11.2 to 11.3, it was much more like a linear progress because it was hard-coded. The control code was hard-coded. But once you have the machine learning based on the data which is coming from the fleet, the entire learning, so data collection, basically acquisition, and then goes to the cloud, trains the neural nets. The neural nets get squeezed into something that can be downloaded to your car for inference. The entire cycle from data acquisition to training to pushing down as a new software release to your car, to then collect and understand how it's performing in the real world, and then to further continue that cycle time is going to be much faster, yielding much more finer optimizations, much more efficiencies, and a much more quick feedback loops.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it's so cool.
And so now we have Golden Gate Bridge right in front of us.
This is so cool.
This is so cool. And we're just like, look at this. I mean,
This is so cool. I was prepared for my mind to be blown. The mind blown emoji, I don't think is enough to explain how cool this is.
do you think your partner would enjoy this as well the next time?
No, this is not even a question. This is amazing.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because a lot of times also one thing that people fail to consider is obviously we are tech savvy, we are engineers, we have engineering backgrounds, we are much more open to new technologies, we are visionaries from that perspective of trying it. We have a higher risk threshold as well. But for mass market adoption, the technology needs to be much more smoother, much more safer, so that average regular people can use it. Because and it needs to get to that level. You can see Waymo is doing it. It's so smooth, convenient. There was no point yet where we felt concerned that it's doing some bad mistakes, it's got stuck. It's just working. So for Tesla, I think version 12 is that promise. And as you mentioned, going back to your point, maybe it happens in summer, maybe it happens in fall. I don't know, but sometime this year, I think.
It feels like we're going to get a preview of it at least.
Yeah.
Like whether or not it's the full blown, what we would consider V12.
Yeah.
Because I'll give you an example, Nikhil. When V11 first, the 11.x stack first started coming out to users, I'm going to butcher which branch I think we first received, but let's just say it was like 11.2 or something like that. The one we're on now, 11.4.9, I do believe is quite refined.
Yeah.
It does have some of the edges that the early 11.x branches were perhaps, but it also does expose some behavior problems that the 11.x branch does have.
Right.
But in similar ways, V12, I think if we start getting into this 12.x release branch, we might start to get, that preview of like maybe, oh man, but I agree. I think it's so close.
No, I totally agree with you. I think we will get that preview. And if you realize, also Elon mentioned on earning call or something, right? Just recently.
A
few weeks.
Yeah.
And so
Omar
it's coming.
has it. YouTubers have it. Like, come on.
Yeah.
We're YouTubers.
So it's coming. That's a different story. We'll try to avoid that for this podcast.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, so I think from Tesme's perspective, we really try to stay in the middle of the spectrum, which is we try to be as close to the truth about the promise of self-driving.
Sure.
We also don't try to unnecessarily hype it too much. As you know, there's some people who do that, and there are some people who say it's absolutely should be banned. It doesn't work. So I think both of these camps are not the right place to be in. We are in the center. Try to be in the center.
I try to just cover what the reality is.
Yeah.
And in other words, and let the viewers decide. Obviously, in this situation, we couldn't fly Wilson like we usually do.
Man,
try to do
having Wilson here would be awesome, man.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But no, Wilson the drone. But Wilson the drone with a driverless and not understanding that the new neighborhood, not probably a good idea to do with Waymo. But obviously, it's something that we can do in our own personal consumer vehicles.
So now we started at Bay Bridge. Now this is the Golden Gate Bridge.
Park.
Oh man, this is so
This
beautiful.
is so cool.
Yeah. Look at this.
And all while
Such a beautiful day.
I do, for the record, get car sick.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. This vehicle has never once, this ride the entire time has not made me car sick from
Yeah.
not looking out and
And
looking
now
around.
check this out, how it's gonna pull into the parking lot.
This is so smooth.
Look at this.
And natural.
Look at this.
This is incredible.
Yeah.
Guys, as we come to the end of our second drive
Yep.
with Waymo, I continue to be fascinated, blown away, and amazed. I sit next to the CEO of Tesme at at All Out Nikhil on X, and no, I can't have. This has been awesome.
This is just amazing. Yeah. So where to next, Andrew?
I think our next spot is Ocean Beach,
The restroom stop?
a restroom stop,
Okay.
a pit stop,
A pit stop, okay.
a pit stop.